infrastructure fund, even for the fishery infrastructure fund, probably cost of borrowing will also get impacted. Even the government itself is saying that do not charge higher than 9% rate of interest. So probably that is not going to be a very big problem in the days to come. Then having a capital subsidy, it always reduces the cost of the equipment, which helps the bank also to find it more feasible in terms of financing. Suppose for the Kusum scheme, the government is coming out with a heavy subsidy. Yeah, the actual rollout is yet to happen, but still there is a big anticipation that with the complete support from the government, it will be we will be able to go for it. The other aspect that I would like to highlight here is whenever we are working with different DRE enterprises or this development organization, what we believe is the way they innovate and they teach us about how to go ahead on things always works for us. See, why is like one of our partner, this GTNFW from Seva, they themselves are innovating their product. Time and again, they are requesting for what you call approval on the different type of pump sets that we have been financing to their members. They come up with the suggestion about how to utilize the solar panels during off season. So this work probably a banker won't be able to do. Where I believe the support of people like Samit or Siddharth can always come in about how to utilize it in a different way, so that there is a different way to generate additional income, maybe in the off season or when it is not used. And then where there is a market linkage and support from this organization for creating an enabling infrastructure will definitely help the bankers to see it in a more positive way.
Sorry for this. Sorry, I'm really sorry for this. Yeah, so I think so what I'm sure many of our members who have also participated, they have also the government support so that through subsidy or interest subvention, the prices can be lower and the end consumers would be able to access such kind of applications. But at the same time, I think what we have also felt during our interactions with many of the financial institutions is that generally whatever financial products that they have for the retail market and for others, taking that effort in terms of understanding the volume to develop a new financial product has been something where we felt that if it's not driven from the things don't happen. So from Clean's perspective, from a network perspective, where do you see a role for Clean to engage with a bank like Bank of Baroda, where we can together help in developing a financial product under the whole umbrella of the DRE with the policies now, which is so that the enterprises and the end consumers, they both would be able to leverage of the agriculture fund or through the guidelines of the revised private sector guidelines. So how do you suggest where should we engage more? What kind of information do you think we can provide you, which will help you to develop such kind of products?
Okay, I'm pretty happy about Anu's you offering to assist us. I think this will definitely go in a long way to collaborate. But when you say that what sort of assistance, before that I'll say that see, as a bank, it is expected that we are supposed to what do you call promote sustainable living and rural livelihoods and everything. But at the same time, you will also be aware that a lot of branches are being operated with 1, 2, 3 people, right? So serving to a very big size of population is always a challenge, which we understand. But at the same time, what happens is, can we work with people like Clean, or the way we work with the Grassroots Trading Network? Can we emulate such collaborations for expanding to different other sectors? Yes, definitely we can do. One thing I would say is, like, to me, the report that was unveiled today and the portal that has been unveiled, it is a very enlightening thing for me, because I personally was not aware of a lot of the equipments that is being used in the solar in the DRE segment. Yeah, the reason could be, when we are going for a project financing, it could be a part of the project. So I am not very keen on watching whether it is a conventional machine or it is a DRE based product. Suppose a project financing is happening for a dairy processing unit, then the milking unit or any other component which is run by a DRE segment will not be known to a banker. Correct. So what I think is, the portals that the portal that you have has been inaugurated today will definitely add value to our thinking process, because in absolute terms, I know that the sector is growing, but I am not having that deep insight of how the things are. I am not having this deep insight of what should be the technical requirements. Okay, so because a lot of products are still not standardized, because multiple brands are coming in. This low cost imports are also coming in. So for me, it becomes always a challenge to identify which is the right source of material. But when it comes about working with people like you, we expect that these informations will always be helpful. I would rather suggest that the way you have listed out the different equipments, can we also create a benchmarking scenario where we will be able to tell that what are the different assistance being provided from the government side. Suppose, let's say you're talking about a solar pump, then can we map it, saying that from PM Kusum there is a X percentage of capital subsidy available, and under agriculture infrastructure fund and Y percentage of intersubvention is available. Because today, if you ask me, neither I am aware, and neither every one of us will be in a very good state of mind or a position to directly say that for this equipment so and so assistance is being provided. Because in a random term, everyone can say that there are government assistance, but
Yep.
can we talk about a particular assistance? Probably no. And then in that scenario, expecting a farmer to have this information, or a end user to have this information, is very, 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 very difficult. Okay, so what I suggest to you is, if you can bring out a matrix where it says which is the equipment, which is the sector it is being used, the way you have already done, and along with that, what are the different assistance being provided, which is the source of this assistance, and that will be definitely helpful to people like us, and both for the end users.
Right, right.
Then you also asked about one point on the revised guidelines.
Mhm.
Hello, yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Maybe you can quickly point on revised guidelines. Then
Yeah, right. You asked me about the revised guidelines. I must tell you that the introduction of these solar pumps or the Kusum components of Kusum, first time in the priority sector lending norms, that too, which enables for the PSL agriculture classification, will definitely raise the eyebrows of Indian bankers at least, so that people will focus on lending to this segment. Uh, the revised guideline also allows startups into agriculture and MSME sectors to be funded. I believe right now, as of now, none of the bank has come out with a dedicated scheme for the startups, but because this is a different ball game altogether. So, but gradually people will come forward to it, and maybe this will become a game changer for this segment.
Yeah. Certainly, I think we also believe in that. I'm sure with the guidelines we would be able to reach out to more number of financiers with some solid documents, guidance in place, which will help our engagement and conversations more helpful. So I think last but not the least, I think I would like to bring Professor Sangeeta Kohli from IIT Delhi. Ma'am, you heard Preeti saying that the DRE productive applications are not standardized. There needs to be things and certifications, etc., which needs to be done. so that it will build confidence among the value chain, it will build confidence among the end consumers, and also bring confidence to the financial institutions here. So ma'am, given the background that you have, and you have in the research and development in the DRE space for quite some time on the improved bookstore side and other areas. And what we would like from you is that what we are trying to do is we are trying to see how all the stakeholders can play a role here. But coming to the specific point about standardization, about testing, what are the areas where institutions like IIT Delhi and other institutions can play a bigger role so that the scale of these kind of applications is more. There is a lot of confidence among the value chain to take it up forward. Ma'am, also you can introduce about yourself and the work that you are doing. Thank you. Ma'am, you are mute. Ma'am, you are mute.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, and I'm really happy to be a part of this event. And I'm really happy to see particularly the kind of report that has been brought out and the launch of a very, very useful portal. So even though it's among the users, academicians are not mentioned, but even we would be very happy to have access to this kind of a portal. So coming to the kind of work that we are doing, so our group at IIT is IIT Delhi essentially has been working on improved cook stoves and small scale, not even small scale, micro scale furnaces for a couple of years now. So our focus is basically to provide support to rural energy technologies, particularly biomass-based technologies to the extent possible. So our group is one very small group in a large place like IIT, and there are several groups which are working on wind energy, solar energy, and within biomass also there are a lot of groups which are working on different aspects of biofuels and bioenergy. So coming to the question that you have raised, definitely the issue of standardization and testing is an extremely important issue. In this regard, I want to highlight two things. One is that when we want to make standards, then how do we really go about making standards? That's one question which has to be addressed. And unfortunately, I have had some experience over here, which I thought I will share with you so that we make sure that things do not happen in that way. For example, I think way back in '92, the BIS came up with the cook stove standard. I do not know how the standards were prepared at that time, but then a couple of years back, the BIS wanted to review those standards. And many of us who have been working in the technical aspects of cook stoves were actually part of that discussion. But unfortunately, against the kind of recommendations which came from the first meeting of the committee of technologists who are working in that area, the no amount of coordinated effort was really put in to identify how the standards should be prepared, because standards have to be prepared by amalgamating the fundamental research which happens in educational and research institutes along with what we see in the field, the field data. So the two have to be brought together, and that's how the standards should be prepared. But unfortunately, that is not what happens many a times. So this is what I want to recommend, that I think it would be good if agency like Clean can actually approach BIS, particularly because standardization means BIS is the supreme body within India. So if we can actually sensitize them that to be able to have good standards of any of the DRE technologies, we really need to essentially bring together the field level experience, field level data, and the technical expertise of the people who have been working in these sectors. I think we can really make reasonable and meaningful standards. So this is one thing that I want to say. Because many times we find that, particularly with respect to improved bookstores, I know when I look at the standards, sometimes we are not able to identify how those numbers which are mentioned in those standards are actually arrived at. So it's extremely important that a rigorous process is followed in arriving at standards so that there is confidence in those standards. So this is one thing that I want to say. Second thing that I want to say is regarding the testing part. So with respect to testing, it's very important, I think, to have good number of agencies which are involved in testing. So, for example, for cookstoves, now the team has helped set up a lab at CSIR Miri to commercially test the cookstove or test the cookstove for commercial entrepreneurs. I think it's very important that we expand that. And for many years, actually, MNRE wanted IIT Delhi to carry out the routine testing job. And I don't think that's a very good strategy. I don't think that's a very good approach. Institutes like IIT and other research institutes actually should be helping to set up the labs and prepare standards rather than doing routine testing. So it's extremely important to expand the testing day, for which the various stakeholders can actually come together and help more and more testing labs which can operate on a commercial basis and can be self-sustaining. They can be set up. So this is regarding the testing and standardization.
Right, ma'am.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. I think we accord to your inputs, and I think in our engagement with MNRE, with NICE, and other stakeholders, I think this is something which we have been putting forward to them, that the DRE productive applications, since it's scaling up, more and more number of people are joining here. It's important to have like a standards and specific guidelines so that they are able to penetrate with different stakeholders. Ma'am, I have another follow-up questions, and I think in the Clean Network also we have seen very young entrepreneurs who are also joining the Clean Network in the DRE space, and you representing a student community and also playing a very active role in various energy interventions through your academic and all of that. So we want to know, like, where can Clean in the DRE productive application space engage with institutions like you, so that together we would be able to increase the outreach of such kind of applications. More number of students who are so-called aspiring to be budding entrepreneurs in the renewable energy space can take up such kind of businesses and promote renewable energy technology.
Okay. So I actually want to address both the things with by highlighting two particular ways in which we feel the engagement is possible. So I was actually discussing, I'm actually very happy that many of these questions you had already indicated to us, so we were able to build some ground, and I had also discussed with some of my colleagues how we can take these things forward. So some very important and very useful suggestions have come from my colleagues. So one very useful suggestion to engage with students is to actually allow internships. So our students, for example, at IIT Delhi, in our undergraduate batch, this year we have admitted 1,200 students in one batch first year. In fact, our fourth year student batch is 800 plus. So you can see the number of students who actually need to do internships. And a couple of years back, I got to know that AICTE made internship compulsory for all its colleges. So if Clean can help leverage that space, I think it will be extremely useful. And our students, we find, are extremely enthusiastic about internships because they get to learn new things. And if they are engaged in a very meaningful way through these internships, then they are also able to, identify a meaningful path for themselves for future. So they can actually think in terms of entrepreneurship and going into DRE sector. So those are the things which they need exposure to. And most of the time, particularly students of the current generation, they have no exposure to these alternatives. So internships is one mode by which you can get them that exposure. So my suggestion would be that if Clean can actually connect with various institutes besides IITs, even other regional educational institutes, varieties of institutes, then one will be able to get internships at various levels. The students can work at various levels. So including, motivating the entrepreneurs to actually adopt more, better practices, more advanced practices, which will help them in managing their energy better, manage their environmental emissions better, and things of that kind. So internship is one thing which I wanted to suggest. The second suggestion is basically regarding engagement with faculty at educational institutes, where a lot of scope for connecting with the R&D space is possible. So here I wanted to highlight some of the problems why we find that even though in IITs there's so much of research which is going on, why is it that we don't really see much of connection between small and medium and or even micro scale industries with the academia of IITs or reputed educational institutes? So this has a couple of reasons. So what we realize is that first of all, there is a very heavy cost associated with having consultancies, because normally what happens, for example, faculty members at IIT, at any IIT or any reputed education institute, would do research through either sponsored research or consultancy. And generally, consultancy comes from large scale established enterprises, and they are able to really pay for the kind of costs that the IITs would demand, because the consultancy fee can be very high, plus the institute overheads can be very high. For consultancy particularly, the institute overheads can go to as high as 50%. And then thirdly, we also have, for consultancy, we also have to pay GST. So the overall cost, suppose I want to do some work for which I need to employ one engineer who can help me carry out the work the organization needs. So even if I pay just about, have a 6 months project, and I pay, let's say, something like 2 lakhs overall in those 6 months to an engineer, my overall project cost may turn out to be something close to 8 to 10 lakhs. Which may be very high for that organization to meet. So here what we actually wanted to suggest was that it's extremely important, and Clean can do that we engage with the IIT kind of institutes to essentially identify an exclusive space for providing technological support to micro, small, and medium, not even medium, in fact, micro and small enterprises. And for that, if we can get some subsidized support from MSME, if MSME can provide some kind of subsidy in that, then it'll, and also if it can be made into some kind of a flagship program of, let's say, MSME. A lot of technology gaps which exist between what is happening in the field and what is happening in the lab, that can be leveraged. So I think this particular aspect should be addressed, because many times people like us who want to contribute to the MSME sector, we really do not know how to do it, because to get funding for our projects is not easy. We do not know how to get funding, and then MSMEs do not know how to get technical backing from institutes like ours. So this is where this can, I think, really help. So Clean must engage with MSME and also some of the organizations like UNIDO, UNDP, which are also trying to do a lot for the MSME sector. And another organization which I feel under MSME can be extremely powerful, which needs to get connected to technologically rich institutes, is KVIC. We have worked with KVIC and we realize that even though there is a huge scope, because KVIC is creating so much of livelihood opportunities, but we do not find any technological upgradations there. So if all these things can be tied up together, and if Clean can play the right agency which can link all of them, it'll be really nice. And at the same time, I think I have also mentioned this earlier in one of our meetings with Clean, that initiatives like RUTA, Rural Technology Action Group, where a lot of technological interventions are being envisaged at the grassroots level, if they can be also linked through Clean to the MSME sector, it will be very useful. So this is one important thing which I wanted to talk about.
Right. Yeah, ma'am. I think very valuable inputs. I think within the Clean network also, what we have been also covering, that the kind of member base we have and the kind of social enterprises and rural enterprises who are part of the network, we have also felt the need for students to go there, intern there, stay at the site, learn about that, learn about the technology, about the markets, and how they can use their young brains to actually come out with some solutions for our members. I think that is something which Clean would certainly take up and will get in touch with you. And I think in terms of the support with other development institutions, I'm sure we would be reaching out to them. And now that there's a lot of which we can provide as evidence, there's a draft policy in place and all of that, I think, which will help us to make our case much more stronger to reach out to them. And I think we'll create opportunities, we'll create avenues for all of us to engage together to take this forward. So I think very, very helpful and very practical points from all the panelists who are present here. I would love to have another round of conversations, but in the interest of time, I'm asked to stop it here. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kriti. Thank you, Samit. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you, Professor Kohli, for joining us. It was wonderful to have you, and thank you so much. Now I would like to
thank you, Anuj, and
thank you all.
Thanks
for inviting us.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite David.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you to all the esteemed panelists. So very quickly, now I would like to invite our Honorable Clean Board member and a sector champion, Mr. Raghu Raman Chandrasekharan, on the stage. Gusa will be giving the closing remarks.
Everybody, am I audible?
Yes.
So you are.
Okay, thank you. So we have overrun the time a little bit, but we had a very interesting panel discussion. And before that also we had very interesting presentation about the state of the sector as well as the portal. I'd like to just quickly, acknowledge the panel members' time. Thank you very much for being here. I think, we go back to the same question on how this DRE sector is playing an important role in the livelihood or poverty elevation. So sometimes I think that this is a time we need to rephrase our approach rather than saying that, how do we find an application for DRE technology or product or a tool? It may be more appropriate to define a problem statement. What is the problem in agriculture sector? What is the problem in health sector? What is the problem? I mean, every sector, every possible economic and development activity which needs improvement. And what is that cannot be solved by the regular grid electricity, and what can be done only by the DRE? If you look at it that way, then I think there'll be an inside-out approach. Right now we are going to every ministry, every government agency and saying, look, we exist, we can also help you. But I think there are a number of cases. For example, our company works on off-grid, off-road, off-network, off-civilization, off-mobile network, nothing. We work in high altitudes of Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and many other places, where one has to go only by foot. As someone was saying, that if we are talking about COVID-19 vaccine, we are working with the Japanese agency. We were trying to, design a portable vaccine, container or whatever you call it. It is going to be transported by foot, and the temperature has to remain for at least 48 hours. Now, keeping minus 70 degrees for 48 hours is going to be a humongous challenge. Well, hopefully, some other vaccine is a candidate. But these are the ways that we look at. There is no other way that any other source of power supply can solve the problem of delivering vaccine to these remote villages. So we need to get back to that problem statement approach. I think that is what I realized today in this whole event. And I would like to definitely go from the back, take upon from Dr. Sangeeta's advice. We would like to work with the interns, as many as possible. I don't think we have done enough to justify that kind of interaction between academic and clean society and clean members. There's tremendous potential. Just to give you an example, in Japanese corporates, they lay an extreme level of emphasis and importance for the exposure to social sector. So much so the large Japanese corporates send their growing, what they call as upwardly mobile executives, to India, Brazil, and Indonesia, all those emerging economies, to understand the social issues, and they get rewarded when they grow. So I think when the young mind is ready to come into the development sector or become an entrepreneur, or maybe he or she wants to go into corporate, if they can be exposed to this sector, it would be a great advantage to them and to us. And I think this is a great idea that we need to collaborate with the academics for the R&D for specific to our sector. One of the issues is that that comes across as a common theme from Mr. Kruti as well as Siddharth, is that the products and Samit, the products are not standard, which is what you also mentioned, and it's actually difficult to find good product. So there is a common theme which is not just only for DRE sector product. It's across India. We really don't focus on the finish, the last 1 or 2% of the challenge of developing a product to its complete finish, to that complete finness, the way the Japanese do that. So there are scientific methods where a new product development can be put to practice not much expensive to follow those processes and methods, but we don't do that. But I think taking a feedback from all of you from the panel, this is the need of the hour, and we will work on this on how to deliver better quality of product, or I would rather say a world-class quality of product at the most affordable price. Right now, it's left to the individual's innovation and the individual engineering. There's very little standard, even on lamps. Despite of IFC's efforts to standardize a little bit, there is no what I call as there is no standard for lumen per dollar. If the poor in the village is spending 2,000 rupees on a lamp, the one lamp which gives let's say 100 lumen for 2,000, there could be another lamp giving 100 lumens for 900 rupees. There is no standard. So we have a long way to go, and I think that is Clean's focus also. We have had the standardization committees working on many of the products, and we would go forward. And thank you very much, and it's been a very useful session and the whole day for me, and I've learned so much in this panel discussion and other things, and I hope the participants also gained a lot today. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Sir, thank you for the words of wisdom. So just before we close the event, I see a raised hand by Siddharth ji, so I would like to get him on stage.
Oh no, sorry, it was just by mistake. Since I was about to speak in the panel members, and I was not able to. So I was. So there
No
is
issues.
speak.
No issues.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you, Siddharth. I would like to invite Advait on the stage to close the event with a formal vote of thanks now.
Hi, thank you so much, David, and wonderful session, really, and very hard-hitting action points for Clean coming out of all of the discussions. Just to quickly wrap up, I can see it has been a longish evening, afternoon that than what we had planned. So let me quickly go through thanking everybody once again for sparing time to attend the State of Sector Report launch and the launch of the IRE portal. First of all, I would like to share, offer my gratitude on behalf of Clean to all the advisory committee members once again for the relentless support and guidance to the Clean team to put together this fantastic report. It includes Abhishek from CW, Anjali from IFC, Divya from Power for All. Let me call out Power for All twice over here. They have been phenomenal in amplifying the work that Clean has been doing, and we hope to see the support continue. Also, Dhruven from GSES, one of our very vocal members, has been supporting us. Nilanjan from GIZ, Rekha from WEF, Santosh from Intellicap, Srishti from Shakti, Tirthankar from WRI. I think phenomenal bunch of mentors for the young Clean team to put together a report to encompass the wide sector of decentralized energy. And I think last but not least on the State of Sector report, I think a big thank you to Hari Natarajan. I think without Hari, neither the previous reports nor this report would have really gotten the direction that it needs. We have often internally debated about, okay, how do we evolve the report, how do we structure the report, and Hari has always been our helped us look at the North Star for the report. So once again, thank you, Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, for helping us put together this report. I would also like to once again thank GIZ India to to have been supporting Clean right from the beginning. Place this confidence on Clean to put together a portal, which we promise that we will continue to keep updated. We will continue to add more and more products, technologies to it, and also more and more features to it. I think and including user testimonials, including more trends mapping. I think we also heard from the panel of how can we integrate various policies or schemes that are available for each of these products. How can that get integrated? Wanted to thank GIC once again for building that confidence in us. And not last but least as well, not last and not least, I would like to thank Good Energies Foundation. I think they have been our institutional partners and supporting Clean all throughout. Once again, a big thank you to everybody who stayed back all through the afternoon, hearing us, sharing your key insights and inputs. And I know that digital platforms can be challenging to hear everybody and all comments, but please feel free to reach out to Clean, our team members, over email, over call. We'll be really happy to continue this conversation beyond this digital platform. Thank you once again, everybody. Thank you for sparing your time and giving us your attention. Thank you. David, I think we can now move on to the lounge area. If members would like to have a quick round of networking.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.